I've been wanting to do a video about the Mark V for the last some time, and unfortunately I was sick with a cold and some other stuff was going on, and so I haven't been able to do a video lately, but I know everyone wanted updates about the Mark V. So just a bit of a recap. I purchased this Mark V some months ago, and it was parked in a parking garage, and someone's project, and it just never materialized. It had been for sale for years and no one came to buy it. It had an issue. It had to go to the smog referee because where I'm at, yes, we still smog these, and I think that scared a lot of people off. And so I rescued it out of the parking garage. It fired right up and had a battery that was tiny and had been sitting for some time. It had an issue where it was shutting off. It turned out it was the fuel pump was bad. And so I took it in, had the fuel pump done, had both catalytic converters replaced, belts, hoses, fluids, all the typical stuff of a car sitting for a long time. Had the tires fixed, replaced, I should say, tie rods, tie rod bushings, some other stuff in the front suspension. Had all the shocks replaced. It sits nicely now. It was a little down in the back before. And so yeah, and then I took it to the smog referee, who was very impressed with it, loved the car, and said, it passed in flying colors. I had one of these many years ago, and I was looking for a Mark V with a 460, and you can't find them here in the state of California because they never sold them here. So unless there was one that was transplanted into California like this one, you would not necessarily find a 460. The 460, it's a lot better engine than the 400. In my opinion, I drove one of these for years with the 400 that I unfortunately had to sell to pay for school. That's where this one comes in, because my wife wanted me to replace the other one with this one. Even though I sold the other one years ago, I really regretted it. And so my wife knew that and got this for me for my birthday. So I just had to pay for the repairs. So anyway, 460 is a lot better engine. I've been driving this for the last few months, and it's a lot better engine. It runs so much nicer, and it's so much better. So I'm gonna take you around a little bit here and show you kind of some things that were done and to the car of interest. So you have to excuse my shadow, but it is morning and good time to take the video. So I found these Milestar tires. They're really cheap at America's Tire, and they have a nice white wall on them and a nice sidewall too. They don't have all that weird lettering and all of that. So yes, I know the larger white walls should belong on here, but these are good, and for what I paid, not too bad. I picked up these lenses here from a gentleman who 3D prints them on eBay, and he's around, so you can certainly find him. They're excellent. And what's really cool is the light diffuses into here at night, and a lot of people put LEDs in there. I actually put in, I just have the regular old bulbs, the incandescent classic bulb, and it works out pretty nice. Up front here, I actually replaced the hood ornament because the original one was broken off and held on with a string. Yes, a string. Someone tied it with a string. And so I found another one. And I actually found another one after that. And I went ahead and bought it, so I have two, just in case. I actually repaired the vacuum lights. They were functional, but the hoses were just no good. They would only hold pressure for about 15 minutes after you shut it off, and then they would pop open. Now it's about 24 hours, which is pretty good. Let's see here. I'm still missing this front piece. I'm hoping to get it soon. It did not come with the car, and it was missing, sadly. Obviously, I'm going to eventually get it painted. You know, it's just it's an old single stage. We tried to buff it out over here and see what we could do. Sadly, it's not savable. So, we will be eventually getting it painted and all of that. Now, moving to back here. Let's go ahead inside. Oh, by the way, this is one of the things that differentiates a designer edition. This is the Pucci Edition, so it has the little signature on there. Pucci's actually did not sell very well, and it's probably, out of all the designer editions, probably the one with the lowest lowest production, lowest sales of all of them. So let's go ahead inside, and I'll show you a little bit about what I did. The radio did not work initially, so I had to figure out the wiring over there. Someone put in a CB radio at some point that was mounted underneath. This was typical for the 70s. And so I figured out the wiring, got it all powered up, so it's functional now. The wipers also had to replace the switch on that. And yeah, the wiper switch, which looked a little crooked there, but I guess that's how it is. So this one has just a low fuel light, no miles to empty, which is fine with me, because apparently the sender is not, you can't find it anymore. And so eventually this whole dash bezel is going to come off, and I'll replace the clock, or get this one fixed, and then I'll replace all the bulbs in the dash. Even though they all work, since I'll have it apart anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have this great little Bluetooth thing here, which is really cool, that I just plug in, and it's great, and transmits to the radio. This door here, I actually replaced that chrome piece and the bottom plastic piece. The original was a goner. I also replaced the speaker over there too, since everything was pulled apart, so it's in good shape. I have another chrome piece for the driver's side, but I don't have the bottom plastic piece yet, unfortunately. So once that comes in, I will be replacing that. And someone recovered the interior at some point. It's like a vinyl, but the color is correct, and so I can't complain. You know, it's fine. I also had the air conditioning fixed. It needed a compressor, and so we got that fixed. We'll look under the hood here in a minute. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's in pretty good shape, considering it sat for so many years and was very neglected. Someone tried to fix it, as we'll see. Someone replaced the spark plugs, and they rebuilt the carburetor and did some other things to it, but it just was never right. And that's what the person I bought it from had told me when I got it. So he was not very adept with cars, unfortunately. Oh, I actually also rewired the cornering lights. I need to get the plastic piece for the underneath the wheel well there. And here's the back end. And it has historical plates now. Now people ask me, why do you do that? You actually save a little bit on the registration. Still have to get it smogged, sadly. And this was an old CB radio antenna. And I also replaced one of the taillight lenses, or the whole unit I had to replace because it was cracked and leaking water. Does anyone out there know why almost all these old personal luxury cars that I've ever purchased have a trailer hitch? Out of like 4 of them that I've helped purchase, like 3 out of 4 of them have the tree hitch. This one's a class 1, so it does about 1,000 pounds. So basically like a lawnmower. But someone put it on there. This car originally came from Texas. So I can imagine what they were hauling back then. Let's take a look at the engine compartment. So here we go. Give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So this is a lovely 460 engine. And I still have to get the air cleaner hose and the little unit that sits right there that it plugs into. Haven't found one yet, so don't really need it, at least right now. The battery that was originally in here was a tiny battery for something else. And so now I put the right size battery, replace the battery hold down, all that. And of course, replace that. I had to replace battery cables because the one was fried. The battery that was in here had side posts, and they tried to adapt it to top post, which was strange. It was way underpowered. I ended up finding the charging problem with the car. I replaced the alternator and it still wasn't charging. And so I ended up going and replacing the voltage regulator, which sits underneath here. Hoses, thermostat, all of that. Flush the radiator. It looks to be close to the original. Maybe it was re-cored at some point. It still works great. So we just leave it. Replace some of the vacuum hoses. I replaced many of them. And the heater hose stuff as well. It was old. Belts, all the belts were replaced. They were ancient. Replaced the ignition module too. The old one was leaking some goo. Wasn't very good. I actually have a new coolant container for over here. This one leaks, so I'm going to be replacing that soon. New AC compressor. I got it on sale, which was good, because for some reason AC compressors are a lot of money now. And so it works great. And replaced the ignition coil and the master cylinder and the brake booster. Brake booster was leaking pretty bad, and so both of those have been replaced. So we have good working brakes, and I think we replaced the front brake pads as well. I think those had to go, and all the rotors had to be turned, all 4 of them, because it sat for a while. But it's a great running car. Great car. Very underappreciated. They're starting to be more appreciated now. But for the longest time, they've been sadly underappreciated. I think it's because it's during the smog era. And so there's an opinion, you know, this engine probably would have went a lot faster many years before. 78 was the last year that they offered the 460 Ford in Lincoln, and I think also in just the whole general Ford family of cars. I'm sure someone will correct me out there. Replaced the washer bottle, and the washer works along with the wipers, which is great. Once I replaced the bottle, it had a new little motor in it. Well, not new, but it was in a junked one that I found. By the way, these, when they hit the junkyard, they are stripped right away. It's unbelievable. 15 years ago when I had my other one, I could find 2 or 3 of these in a junkyard, and they'd be sitting there for a long time with their parts. So, to my understanding, I guess, the sunroofs are worth a bunch of money for people out there who are doing lowrider projects. Mine does not have a sunroof. But yeah, whoever had this interestingly optioned. There's no automatic vent window like on my other one, which is fine with me. I guess the parts are more difficult to track down. for that. Like I said, I basically came through time warp to now with these, and before, when I had mine, it was not hard to find parts for it. So it's kind of interesting coming out now, 15 years later, and getting one of these, and now, oh, you can't get this, or you can't get that, or that special order, you know, or I have to call somewhere back east to pick them up. So very solid car. It was repainted at some point. I'm gonna have it this hole sealed here when it's painted, and I believe this is actually the original color. It's a metallic, more of a silver metallic. Whereas this paint that was some single stage replacement paint looks like some sort of a dove gray. So we'll go back to that, and I also have a Mark V emblem to replace the broken one there, but I'll wait till it's painted. And eventually, before it's painted, we're gonna get this vinyl top removed, and so then any rust can be repaired properly. There's some rust over here and some rust along back, so it can be repaired properly. And then get it painted, and then a new top put on. But the nice thing is there isn't much body work that'll have to be done, just the rust repair and a couple little dents on the passenger side. Nothing big, thankfully. There's just some dents over here and a little bit of waviness. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and turn this thing on. And it fires right up. Oh, we also replaced the vacuum advance as well, I guess. That was no good, I almost forgot. But the 460 is a really nice engine. I think it's a really great engine. And it runs so smooth. Not bad for 1978. So that is the 1978 Lincoln Mark V update. And please like and view my other videos, and subscribe as well. I know we have some more subscribers. I'm not a professional YouTuber by any means. I just want to share my enjoyment of these old cars with all of you. And also as a reference too, so if you are ever out trying to fix one of these old cars and you know, you need a reference, I'll tell you, YouTube's been incredibly helpful for me as a car enthusiast, rescuing these old, forgotten, abandoned cars all these years. And I've been able to save a lot of money doing a lot of stuff myself, and thanks to YouTube, and thanks to all of you out there. So hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again.